And there are some things that usually people think about your music, that you're actually expressing the dark side of human character. Do you believe that that is the basic influence for you?
It's very funny people would think that. No, I don't feel that at all. I mean, I've tried to look at all aspects of, we're very complex beings, and I think to try and represent that complexity in the work is a challenge, and it's something to aspire to. There are joyful pieces. Certainly, there are very uplifting pieces in my catalogue of material, that I've produced over the years. But even the compositions that focus on, what people term a more darker aspect of human nature, I do so for cathartic reasons, to find a release for these kinds of emotions. As the filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky once said, you have to focus on the shadow aspect of life to accentuate the light. I think by living through the negative experiences, one comes to some kind of resolution. And so I think of it as more of a healing process and a necessary healing process, and that's why I go through it. The process of creating the work myself, because it also works as a cathartic element in my life. I certainly wouldn't put work out into the world if I thought it was of a negative nature. I think there has to be something that is productive, in the work, that has a positive effect on people.
Of course, and you mentioned Tarkovsky. The other great film director, Joel Schumacher, will be released a new film soon, and your track "Banality of Evil" will be on soundtrack for that. Are you planning to make some more film music in the future?
Well, that particular piece was just acquired by the film studio. I had no involvement in the film itself. I'm not. I'm kind of open to these ideas. I've been open to the idea of creating soundtrack material for my entire working life, but I've yet to come across something that really inspires me to want to get involved with film. I mean, I have quite a productive life of my own. I generate my own work for the most part, and occasionally, like the Naoshima piece, I'll get a commission that's really exciting and I'll want to get involved. But it has to be something really either in keeping with where I'm at in my current interests, musical interests, or something that really inspires me to want to get involved in another project, which is a collaboration with in a different medium. Otherwise, I'm quite happy to just keep on, to keep the focus on my own work. There's so much to be done, and I work very slowly, so there's this constant struggle to keep up with all the different ideas and projects that I'd like to take on.
And speaking of Nine Horses, you're actually surrounded with the great musicians and people like Bernd Friedman, Arve Henriksen, Stina Nordenstam, a beautiful Swedish singer, and of course your brother Steve. How did you collect all those people at one place?
Well, for the most part, it's a matter of trying to service the composition as best you can, any particular composition I'm working on. When I start to orchestrate a particular piece, certain voices will come to mind, obviously voices within my frame of reference, whether it be a trumpet or a human voice or whatever. And I just contact that person, as soon as they come to mind. If they seem entirely appropriate to me for the composition, that they would strengthen it and accentuate it in a way that I think would add strength to the work. Yeah, I just communicate them and hope that they can also feel that connection between where they are in their material and the current material that I'm working on. And it's an intuitive process. It's very specific. I think it's very important to choose the right people for the right roles, in the same way that as a movie director would for roles in a film. So I've been very fortunate that the majority of people have agreed to get involved in my projects and have produced astounding results for the most part. It's very gratifying, but it is the work that's important. It's not the individual, and nowadays we have more of a global network of artists. With the decline of the music industry, which used to act as an intermediary between artists, as did management, that's kind of dissolving and disappearing, and now you have a kind of global network of artists working together directly, sending sound files around the world to collaborate with one another, and that's an interesting development, and I think a very positive one.